Good morning, one and all. It is Mark Knights from the Pathfinder Chronicles again. Saturday morning, so it's a video blog. Still sick of typing. One day it may be different, but at the moment we'll do the video log. Today I want to talk about pretty much what I was typing about yesterday, which was story arcs and how to fit them in. Except today I want to talk about one session story arcs, which is slightly different to one-off story arcs, but not hugely different, which is largely why I don't want to type about this, and it's a good timing for the video. A one session story arc is used by a GM in an existing adventure or an existing campaign where the story actually exists for just that one session. Okay, so it's very similar to a one-off where you have the start, then you have the build-up, then you have the middle point or the confrontation, then you have a fast-paced or frenetic energy where they're building to the climax, and then the climax itself and the conclusion. The differences between this and a one-off is you can play around with the format a little bit more. If it's part of a longer adventure, timing is essential if you want to really get it done in that one session, but if it carries over to the next week's game and it takes another 10-15 minutes to finish off the conclusion or something like that, it's not going to hurt too much. You can also put things in that leave more questions than it answers. So at the point where I said in the one-off game that you have to answer all of the questions that they have and say, yes, look, here's a neat little package of what your character's actions did, and you solved them all, that package can be large and open and have threads running everywhere. So you can have any sort of points that you want the players to actually have to deal with later on. You can use them as lead-ons into different adventures. So I have spent several of my Traveller games doing this. I will run a session that fits into the one session, okay? And I will throw hooks into it, which open the players up to, oh, that was interesting, maybe we'll go and investigate this, etc. It's a very good method of throwing hooks into a sandbox style game. So there you have it. That's essentially the differences. You can also try and do twists. I'd steer away from twists in one-offs, although they can be done. There's a lot of planning involved, and you've got to make sure the timings are right, and you've got to make sure everything hits at the right time. But in a one session, you can attempt a twist and allow it to play out. And you can also throw in other things. Now, I had a question. Well, it wasn't a question. I know Ken was commenting because he shared my blog yesterday, Ken Cthulhu. And he said, well, how do I get away from a one-off, which is the same as a one session, just being combat, 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 combat? It's just the setting. Like, I mean, where I say in the example I gave, oh yes, you come across the cleric cultist who is, you know, about to bring down doom on Blood Cove itself. That could quite easily be you've finally made it in to see the Queen, and you're now at the point where you're requesting help for yourself or to gain some soldiers to take on a dragon that's errant in the forest, or you need some firepower backup because you're going to be running a special mission into a particular star system or something similar to that. What you put into these things is what you want out of them. And in essence, they don't need to be combat, combat, combat. Of course, flipping that on its head, if you try to do that and it always ends up in combat, maybe look at the players as well, because that might be something that they want from the game. Okay, and if that's what they want from the game, because they come in and the Queen says no, so they attack all of the soldiers and hold a sword to the Queen's throat, then, you know, that might be just the style of play that they want to play in. So 50 one way, half dozen the other, I suppose. Anyway, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say about the one sessions. They are there. You are pretty much running a one-off. You need to pay attention to your timings. You need to get that same structure to the story, but you can throw in open-ended things. You can throw in threads that link into different adventures. You can throw in twists and intrigues and stuff like that to build your character's interest. Anyway, I hope you all have a great Saturday. I know I'm not going to. 12 hours of pumping petrol isn't terribly fun, but I get other stuff done as well, as long as it's not too busy. Anyway, just for those two who are interested, Hawthorn won last weekend. The Hawks came through for me, so the wall paint was actually worth it. Hence the big smile on my face today. Anyway, I'll catch you next time. Catch you later. Mark Knights from the Pathfinder Chronicles.